Tigerlily involved in early breast cancer detection and clinical trials?
You know, I think that the healthcare system we have, I call it a sick care system. They
Yes.
focus on chronic health. When you're sick and you're, in need, oh my God, there's this treatment, there's a trial, there's this, that, the other. What about putting that money into risk reduction, into healthy lifestyle? We know that Black people live in communities sometimes that are, because of redlining, racism, that are filled with toxins. There's studies now showing that Black women, I think the FDA is gonna ban certain kind of perms because they're toxic. We know this. We've known it for years, right? And so a lot of the products we use as Black women haven't been, tested by the FDA. They're not proved to be safe on our heads, on our skin, in our clothing, our lips. We're putting things in our mouths and skin, our biggest organ, that are giving us carcinogens that can cause cancer. So to me, as a person and a leader, I tell women what they should be knowing about how to reduce their risk. Eating healthy, exercising, staying active, looking at what you're putting in your mouth, on your body, looking at your environment, just being aware. So we do a lot of things with groups that are environmental advocacy groups to give Black women awareness of what to be able to know, to be able to stay healthy, and knowing your family history. Talking about breast cancer or ovarian cancer, whatever it is, over dinner, in the car, like making healthcare sexy. Being healthy is, people are on Instagram posting makeup videos. If you look now, there's makeup videos, there's lashes, there's waist trainers, but why are we talking about health? Without your health, you won't need a wig or a waist trainer. You'll be underground. So like, I tell people, like, you do all that stuff, but this is more important what you look like on the inside than on the outside. And so we do a lot around empowerment. Some of our advocates, we call them angel advocates, are holistic healthcare trainers. They're Zumba dancers, they're physical trainers. They're so active in their bodies and in their life, in their healthcare lifestyle, that they're empowering other people to think about how they're being risk reductive as well. Clinical trials are a big part of our work. We launched a campaign with GSK recently called My Living Legacy campaign, because we know that there have been horrible things that have happened to Black people in clinical trials, things that are just unspeakable. And when I even read about them today, I get my skin crawls. And so I understand the fear of trials, but there's been a lot done to protect Black people when it comes to trials going forward. And the truth is that if we don't take part in trials, we can't have life, right? And so I'm helping to understand that everything from, nasal sprays for allergies, or medication for a headache, or, anything that you're using that's going to go on your body in terms of medication has been through a trial. And so trials are not scary. It's what happened in the past has happened, but there's ways to protect you guys now, all of us now, all people, as they get into trials. And trials are about legacy. If you want to have your daughter have a better healthcare outcome, take part in a trial. If you want to have Black women have treatments with our Black bodies, take part in a trial. Because if we don't do that, we're going to keep dying at higher rates from breast cancer. And Black women are dying now at a 40% higher rate than women who are white, because they're not having treatments targeting our Black bodies. And so trials are really important, and understanding that it's a legacy move. It's for the present and the future. And we have to change the past by doing things now differently. So we have a future that's one of life and one of health and one of joy and quality. And, me being here now, I'm 17 years cancer free as of
Congratulations.
I'm not counting. I think it's like 15 days or so. But I'm kind of a unicorn in this space. Women don't live this long without recurrence and or dying from TNBC. And so this is why I'm so passionate about other women having what I've had. My daughter is now, she'll be 21 in 3 weeks. Well, no, December 13th. But I've been able to see her. She was 3 when I was diagnosed, 3 years old. I watched her learn to tie her shoes and ride a bike and walk her to school, made her countless lunches, dinners, breakfasts, did nails together, meet the first boy she liked, her first crush. When she will cross the stage, when she finished high school, I cried. I got to be there for her. And throughout her life, had other parents saying how the kids were getting on their nerves, or driving them crazy, and left clothes wherever, or roller skates and rollerblades and got things on the wall. And I say, you know what? You get to be there.
Enjoy it,
Other
exactly.
women, other women don't get to have that privilege, And I've lost so many friends who don't get to have the blessing of having a kid leave their empty plate on the table, or leave laundry on the floor, or take bring their roller skates in the house and leave a dent on the wood. You know, like it's a blessing to be alive. And so my gift to other women is to have them have that blessing of their children, that time with them, and the kids having their mom around. People need their moms, and we can have that happen. We can save lives. It's a matter of having these treatments available that are working in Black women's bodies. That's going to get us to a place of equality in healthcare for Black and brown women.
Let me tell you, my mother died of triple negative breast cancer. Uh,
No, I'm so sorry.
yeah. And well, you know, we carry the BRCA2 gene. So this past summer, I had the prophylactic mastectomy.
Mm,
And my daughter, who is 8 years old, I already talked to her about the importance of when she gets older, because we have this gene mutation,
disposition, yeah.
going to have to, you know, make tough decisions. I mean, I hope the science is further along that she doesn't have to go through, you know, it's a pretty traumatic surgery, but I'm here and I'm grateful for it, you know, but I do talk to her right now at age 8 to ingrain in her the
Oh,
importance of that this is going to be your life at some point. You're going to be a woman and you're going to have to make this decision one day. And I hope you make the right decision so that you're around for your daughter.
and that's what legacy is about, right? You're talking
Yeah,
to her about
absolutely.
life-saving behaviors. And
Yes.
I think people don't understand that, teaching kids to brush their teeth and tie their shoes and have proper hygiene and about their bodies and breast health, that's part of being a parent. You can't just discuss that and the other pieces and not discuss the importance of what could save their life. You can have the best teeth in the world, tie your shoes the best way, and take the best showers. And if you know your body, you can still die of cancer and have beautiful teeth and beautiful hair and all these things. And
Right. That's
so I
right.
think it goes hand in hand. My daughter and I began talking about breast cancer at 3 when I was diagnosed. And I told her in really, like I set her on the floor and I held her hands and we had a beautiful conversation. She was shocked when my hair was bald. She was startled.
Mhm.
But I said, I'm taking medicine to be able to be here for you longer. And so I have a boo-boo. We have to fix it. And then medicine will make me lose my hair, but I'll be here for you longer and we're going to have fun together and plan a trip to Disney World after I get better. And we did. And
Um,
so as I went through the breast cancer journey, even of my recovery and beginning Tigerlily, she went to all my events. I make her little dresses to match my dresses. And
oh,
she comes to conferences and wear like a little dress and be like, I'm wearing a fancy dress. And she sit on the floor under the conference table coloring and playing with her toys. And so everyone in the space knows her. They've watched her grow up for the past 18 years.
right.
And so she just got a job this summer as an intern at a drug company doing clinical trials and health equity work. Like that's what legacy means. She's now wanting to go into the field of in medicine. She she scheduled a pap smear the other day. I was like, you scheduled a pap smear? Well, yeah, I mean, I'm 21 years old now. I should be doing the pap smear, right? Yeah, okay. She schedules her own she said, Mommy, one day she said, Mommy, I think I have a weird thing in my breast. And I was like, well, okay, I can feel it. Let's go to the doctor. Because I told her, I said, I think the rule is that if you get breast cancer, your child should be starting getting tested at 3 to 5 years before you got diagnosed. And so,
Right.
but I'm gangster as hell. I'm like, you know what? If you have a lump, I don't care if you're 10, we're gonna go to the doctor. And doctors are terrified of me. When I come to the office, you're gonna see me for whatever I want, and I'm gonna leave happy, okay? Or I'm not leaving. So I got there, and they're like, "Well, she's too young." I said, "Give her the ultrasound," and they said, "Okay, yes, ma'am." I said, "Don't call me ma'am. Okay, just do it." And they did it, and they did it, and she was fine, and we went home. But I was like so proud of her for telling me for doing her breast exams for one, for telling me about it, and for going for the ultrasound with me. And so she's actually advocating for herself. And she's to be we have a joke. Her nickname is a house hypochondriac. Anything that headache, backache, pain. Oh my God, mommy. I'm like, you're fine. I'm fine. But I'd rather her be hyper aware than not be aware because
That's
as women
exactly
who are
right.
younger and Black, we are at risk, right? So
Mhm.
the good thing is that we have a beautifully healthy household. We're both very healthy. We take a lot of supplements like, spirulina, ashwagandha, wheatgrass. We both go to the gym. We work out really, a lot. Go to the sauna, detox at the Korean spa. Our house has no sweets. We go out for snacks. We don't keep them in the house, but we have a lifestyle that's risk reductive, right? And she's passing it on to her friends as well, which I love.
That's beautiful. Can you talk about Living Legacy campaign?
Living Legacy is a partnership that we have put in place with GSK, GlaxoSmithKline. They're a global biotech company, pharma company. And when you talk about clinical trials, people are always thinking about how to recruit people for trials. Before you recruit people for a trial, you have to understand who people are, what are their determinants of health that impact them from wanting to be in a trial. What do they know about clinical trials? What are the things that they're afraid of? What are the things in their communities that may impact them from not being able to access one when they get into one or adhere to a trial? So, what does a trial feel like? They're going to be in a room with hands tied with a needle in their arm. No, it's not like that. So the campaign's really about helping people to understand why trials are important, why they're life-saving, why you can be a living legacy as you're alive in this moment, and how that can impact equity in healthcare for Black women long term. And so we've been doing national, events, going to communities of color and talking about trials and building trust. We've been doing ad campaigns, social media campaigns, and media like this. We've been doing a lot of work with Black and Brown patients, having listening sessions and doing social media content about why trials are important. And the goal isn't to tell people on do this now. It's to say that the past happened. It was horrible, but you can look at the past all you want. We're not going that way. It's like driving a car, looking in the rearview mirror the whole time. You're gonna have an accident.
Right.
So how do you prevent the past from becoming your future? Is by looking towards the future and changing it. How do you change it? By being a part of it, being a part of education, advocacy, talking about it, dispelling myths, and then moving forward. And so Black women right now have, I think, a 5% or less. I think maybe it's 3% clinical trial enrollment rate, which is horrible, right? So if we're not getting to trials, the medicines that are going to be made aren't going to be for our bodies, not going to work for us. And so if we're not in medication and getting involved in trials that can lead to advancements in science, we're going to keep dying at higher rates. Again, like I said earlier, is almost double what white women are dying from breast cancer. And that's not acceptable. So trials are really they're about life, they're about legacy, about the future, about your daughter and my daughter and our grandchildren. And so I used to be terrified of trials. I used to think that, oh my God, I read about Henrietta Lacks and Tuskegee and, the doctor who did the work with harmed women he was a gynecological doctor who did,
Father of gynecology. I know who you're talking about. I just don't remember his name.
And I would just cringe. And I'm like, I never want to be involved in this work. I don't want to talk to anybody in pharma. This is horrible. But after being diagnosed and asking questions, I thought, you know what, if I'm not at the table, or if I'm not the table, I can't change the past. So you can say, well, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be involved. This is horrible. Then we're going to keep dying. But if you want to change what's happened in the past and build a better future for us as Black women, you have to be in the room, at the table, have your megaphone, and be a part of clinical trials. And that's why it's so important to me as a woman. And the fact that I see women who I love, I meet women who come to us as patients for support, dying every day because they don't have the right medications that work for their bodies. And so imagine how many women I've seen die in 17 years, whose hands I've held, done their eulogies, talk with their husbands and kids afterwards. And it's just like, it's heartbreaking and traumatic. And we're losing women that we don't have to lose, who can still be alive today. And having the number of 40% dying of cancer more than white women, to me, it's almost, whenever I say it, my body just responds to that in a really negative way, because it's not normal, it's not right, it's not fair, it's not just. Right. And so trials are about making that number different, making it go down to 20%, 10%, 5%, right? We don't want equality in death, we want equality in life, right? And that means understanding why trials are important, taking part in a trial, and then sharing that with your friends, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your peers, why trials are important and getting involved. to have medicines for Black and brown women, to have equality in healthcare.
You know, on the flip side, or on the pharma side, a lot of women get excluded. A lot of women of color get excluded from clinical trials because they're diabetic or they're obese. Is there education on the pharma side to include these women, because a lot of these risk factors also, you know, comorbid with cancer?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work with biotech companies and pharma to help to change the criteria for inclusion. And so somebody's risk because they're diabetic, because they're Black, and Black people have hypertension, you know, more so, right? Or diabetes shouldn't predispose them to not be in the trial. So we do a lot of work with companies, you know, across the country, across the world to help them change the inclusion criteria, because that can't, if people aren't getting in trials because they're not meeting all the check boxes, they're going to continue to die. And so understanding that the reason why they have those morbidity level issues is because they have been just, it's racism, right? It's from, you know, it's a historical problem. So you tell me that because they were discriminated against in 1950s and 60s and had to eat certain foods and be in certain communities, had certain environmental factors that impact them now as they're diabetic and or hypertensive, that's going to make them not be able to be in your trial. So you can't allow racism to still impact them now in a way that will further carry on the history of unfairness and injustice in Black people. And so a lot of my work is we launched a pledge called the Inclusion Pledge, and we challenged pharma to be more inclusive, which meant we're going to challenge you on what your status quo is and help you to be more accountable to us. Well, not help you, make you be accountable to us. And many people said yes to the pledge because they don't understand. It's like the system we have in place now, the system that we have in place now is not working because it was built by EU. You built the house, is not working. So I can't work in that same house because it's not working for me. How can I teach you how to build a better house? It's by asking me what to do and helping me working with me and our partners and our patients, right? To change how you do business.
Right.
And so we have a lot of our patients that are working with pharma now to better be more inclusive. We're working with people in biotech from the beginning of clinical trials, like looking at the protocol, the site. We're looking at the informed consent documents. We're looking at the patient materials. We're looking at their outreach plans. We're looking at, you know, the patient content, patient experience throughout the whole process. We're developing ad boards. We are doing all these things. So we're embedding ourselves in every part of the drug development process, so that whatever they're doing is going to include a Black or brown patient helping to sign off on what they're doing. So it is truly co-creating with inclusivity embedded in that process.
That's terrific.
It's awesome. It's exciting. It's awesome. And it's hard. It's not easy because people didn't challenge pharma in the past and they didn't think that they were wrong. And then also people we work with in pharma, our partners are amazing partners. They want to do the work. They have moms and dads and sisters and brothers who've been sick or died from cancer. The challenge is that the higher ups who are looking at, you know, they're looking at this is how we've always done things. We can't change. We have regulations and policies and guidelines and legal issues. They don't want to change sometimes. So our job is to push and to get people who are on the inside to be our allies and help us move things forward. And I'm really good at doing that. And I'm relentless, unstoppable, and I don't take no for an answer. I mean, I've been doing this for 17 years, right? 17 years. The first 14 years, I did it just without pay. I worked a full-time jobs, 80 hours a week, raising my daughter. And I'm like, I'm not going to stop till I get what I want. And that's life for my Black patients and brown patients and any patient who was coming to me, any color. And so I kept moving forward until they heard me. And now we're a national organization. We're community-based, we're people-based. And I won't stop till we have equality for my patients, you know, in every aspect for all people that I work with, young women, women of all colors, but focusing on Black women right now is a priority for me.